o'clock in the morning, and you know what that means. Time to make another video. So, yeah, this is going to be a dialogue tree thing. First things first, thank you guys. Thank you guys for subscribing. If you don't do that, thank you for liking the videos. If you don't do that, thank you for just watching the videos. I really appreciate it. Seriously, thank you so much. Anyway, back to what we're done. Back to the real stuff. All right, so starting off, we are going to, I don't know. I'm going to be doing this from scratch, so you can see a little bit of my process of like kind of how I figure things out and stuff. But also, I'm going to explain this as well as I can, and I'm going to break it down to a level where you think I'm being condescending. All right, so let's get started. So first thing first, what do I want to do with this? So I'm going to create text, and then I guess I'm gonna put in like, we'll see. I'm gonna get started. Let's just do things. Let's go in third person first. How do I want to do this? So I could start, I'm gonna start by just setting it up first. So I'm just gonna have it on when I hit the begin play, or when I hit the play button, I'm just going to have the dialogue tree spawn, but then I'm going to attach it to an actor later on, and then I'll do other stuff, I guess. We'll see what happens. Let's first start by creating, let me get the controller first. So I'm getting the controller first so I can kind of mess with it. And by mess with it, I mean, I want to, let's see, what do I need for my my overlay screen? Like once the screen spawns, what do I want to do? So what I want to do is I want to enable, this is just get a controller. Let me get a player controller first. Get player controller. Off to a good start. Let me enable click events. So I'm going to set enable click events so I can enable the click events. Next, I am going to set the mouse over events. And setting enable mouse over events will set enabling mouse over events. So like you'll see it if I hover over this, you can see this dialogue. It's essentially going to be doing that except for in the game, and you'll see it like it'll highlight the buttons as I go over them. And next thing, we want to show the mouse, show the mouse cursor, and I need to set show mouse cursor so you can actually see the mouse, because you actually start off, because I'm in the third person, maybe I should have mentioned that. I'm starting this project in the third person character template. So when you first start off, you don't have the mouse visible, you have the character visible. So this is going to allow you to show the mouse. And I don't know if I need any other controls besides that, but for the sake of being organized, I'm going to do this. I'm going to right click and I'm going to collapse it to a function. And you can do this for anything else. It just makes things look a lot neater. It'll still work if you don't collapse it to a function, by the way. So let me just call it controller stuff. I'm sure there's some gaming terminology for this. I don't know what it is, so whatever. So next, I'm gonna want to spawn the dialogue, and I'm gonna make that an actor, but I'm not gonna do it right now. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create the widget blueprint. So blueprint class, and it's gonna be called user widget. User widget. And that is the standard widget blueprint thing. And I'm going to call it dialogue. I don't know if I spelled that correctly, but it looks correct. So now what do I want to drag onto here? So I guess I could start with a canvas panel, is always good to start with. And maybe I'll grab a border, I guess. Oh, it's right here. Border. I'm just gonna size this to the whole thing. Oh, well, let me just see exactly what size I want it to be. Then I'm gonna set this anchor right in the center of it. And then I'm gonna zero out this X and Y. And then because it doesn't align it to the center when you zero it out, you just need to go up here with where it says alignment and just add 0.5 each time. And you can do this for pretty much anything, not just this special box thing. It always does that thing where it goes to the top left corner. So just 0.5 is a good rule if you're trying to center it on the anchor. So after that, we want to get a vertical box. Vertical box. And I just want it to cover the top, because what I'm doing right now is I'm setting it up for the NPCs dialog. So the NPCs dialog is going to be within this vertical box here. And now that we have that, I can now get text. Text block. And I can just drag it in here, or wait, drag it here, and it'll encompass the entirety of the vertical box because I've now attached it to it. So that should be fine. This text box, oh, it did not encompass the entire box. You see up here, it says under size, it says auto and fill. Just click fill and it'll fill the entire box. I was wrong. Next, I'm going to create another border. And this border is going to be where'd my border go? It's going to be, oh man, get off. No. There we go. Sorry, this border is going to be where the not the NPC dialog, our dialog is going to be. So the player dialog. These are going to be the buttons that you can press to decide which option you're going to choose. So if they say, hey, how are you doing? There'd be a variety of different options with different buttons, and you click the button and it chooses that dialog. So let me center this anchor on here. Gonna do the same thing here. Whatever, this doesn't need to be perfect, as long as it's kind of centered there. All right, compile and save it. I think that's all I need. No, it's not what I need. Not all I need. I need a vertical box. Vertical box. Add that, drag that in here, or drag it in here, attach it to this. And there you go. And then it attaches to this. Let's see. Although it seems this time it actually filled the entire box, so cool. That's because it's not text. Yeah, the vertical box did fill the other one. Cool. Whatever. Next. What do we want to do next? Oh, before I do this, I need to create variables for this. So this vertical box here is going to be the NPC, the NPC dialog. I'm just going to call it NPC dialog. And then this is going to be the player response. Player response. And these both need to be variables, I believe. This also needs to be centered right here. Make sure all these things are anchored in the right place. Okay. Okay, this is gonna be NPC dialog. This is going to be, I need to make this a variable too. I probably need to make this a variable, we'll see. I don't think I need to make the borders variables. So, yeah, it should be fine. So the next thing I want to do is I want to create the buttons for here. As you can see, I didn't add any buttons in here, and it's because I want the buttons to spawn inside of this. So I'm going to create another user widget. And this one I'm going to call choices, I guess. Choices. Because these are going to be the player choices. Maybe we should have named it player choices. Doesn't matter. We're going in. Same thing, I'm going to create a canvas. Canvas panel. And then this is going to be where I'm going to create buttons. So I'm going to create a button, and I'm going to make it a size that I like. It's gonna fit anyway. I don't know what I'm doing. Let me just put this in the middle here. And then I'm gonna add text to it. If you drag the text onto the thing, it'll automatically like snap to it. I made this white, didn't I? The text on this, I made white. I'm not going to be able to see white on this thing. There we go. And that doesn't look very good at all, does it? Let me center this. And yeah, that's fine. If I don't like it, I'll change it later. Okay, so that's fine. The text is going to be a variable. And is the button also going to be a variable? It's checked anyway, so it's got it. So it doesn't matter. I'm going to leave it. So that's good. That's good. What do we need now? So I did that. I need an on-clicked event for this, but I don't know if I have all this stuff for it. Let me try it out and see if I'm short on something. So on-clicked button, cast to third person character. Damn, I forgot to explain everything to the utmost degree. I hope I explained everything well to this point. I feel like I did. The buttons are going to go into the dialogue. So I am now casting this the third person character so I can get a reference to it. But I don't know why I'm doing that right now because I don't actually have... Let me just set this up for later and it'll be easy to switch back over to. So get player character. What I'm going to be grabbing off of this is going to be the dialogue, the actor dialogue, but I haven't even created that yet, so I can't do that yet. Maybe I should start doing the structs. I'm sorry this is all over the place, but this is kind of the way that I think about things or figure it out on the fly. So I'm going to create structs, and these structs are going to make up the dialogue system. So first thing, I'm going to need, how many structures I'm going to need? I'm going to find out. So this first dialogue is going to be the choices. S is for struct. That's why I named it like that. S underscore choices. So these are going to be the choice setup for the character. So the first thing is going to be the reply. So what's actually going to go inside the box is going to be the reply. And that's going to be a text. I'm going to add another variable, and that other variable is going to be an integer, and that's going to be the node. So I'll just call it node. And what I mean by node is it's going to be broken down to separate dialog boxes. So if I click on an option, I can have it go to the next dialog box. So say for instance, I'm on 0, because 0 is always included as one of the numbers. So I'm on 0, and I'm click something like, can you tell me about this? And then I click this, and I link this node to number 1. So it's going to link it to node number 1, which is going to be a whole new discussion. And if I hook it up right, it's going to make sense what the NPC is going to say next, like, oh, what can I help you with regarding this? And then I'll have another more choices dialog options. So I'm going to add another variable here, and this is going to be exit dialog. And this is just a Boolean. Boolean's true or false, by the way. So if you hook it for true, that means exit dialog's true, and then you do whatever action that is, which is going to be closing all the dialog boxes once I exit dialog. Or if it's false, it's going to run through every single time. So if it's false, then it's going to go along with the next set of dialog. And you'll see how this forms later on. So that's S choices. So next is going to be a new structure. And this one is going to be the reply from the NPC. So just gonna put reply. Sure. And so what I'm gonna need for this is I'm going to need the actual NPC reply. And that's going to be of type text, because that's going to be the NPC's dialogue, what the NPC is going to be saying. And I'm going to add another variable here, and this is going to be the choices that I already created. It's my struct up here. So these are, I should say player choices. Player choices. And I'm going to make this s_choices. And I'm going to make this an array. So that's good. The next thing I'm going to do is going to be another struct. So structure. I said structure, apparently. Struct. Why does it do that? Structure. This is going to be, what do I want to name this? I'm just going to call this dialog tree. This is like the whole, this is the end thing. So let's say I'm just going to call it NPC owner. And this is good for setting up later. I'm just going to have one NPC later on in this video. Maybe I'll make, no, I'm going to make more. I'm just going to make one NPC. And this essentially makes it so you can name your different things. So it'll be the dialogue for whatever character that is. Let me add another variable here, and this is going to be conversation. Conversation. And it's going to be the reply. S_reply. Also going to be an array. Save that. So now I have the dialog tree, which how do I want to set this up? I'm gonna do this first. I'm gonna create an actor, and this is going to be my dialogue itself. So dialogue. So in here, I'm gonna actually just leave this blank. Doesn't need to be visible. And on, I don't know why I deleted my event begin play. I needed that. Event begin play. I'm going to create widget. Create widget, and if you do a drop down menu here, you can click whatever thing you want. I'm going to grab the dialogue. So this is the widget blueprint for the dialogue. That's the one with the NPC dialogue at the top, but just empty body. And then we want to promote this to a variable, because I'm probably going to use this in a second. Widget blueprint underscore dialogue. Just name it that, and then I'm going to add it to viewport. So what I'm doing right now is I am creating the widget itself. I promoted it to a variable so that I can use this later on to reference. And then I've added it to the viewport. And when I'm adding it to the viewport, I'm adding it to the screen. So how do I want to do this? Let me create a new function. What did I just do? Okay. I just pulled something up on my other screen. Didn't exit out as OBS, did it? No? Okay. Cool. So let's see. What do I want to call this? That's a viewport. I don't know how I want to do this. I'm going to name it, yeah, I'll say load dialogue. And I am going to double click on this and it'll take me into this other graph here. I think I can start this, but I'm not gonna be able to finish this. So let me create a branch here. And this branch, I'm just gonna add a condition on it. So let's see. Input, let me call it close conversation, exit conversation, exit conversation, exit conversation. And let me create another variable here. I'm gonna make this the node. So node. And I've mentioned nodes before, or earlier when I was talking about it. This is going to be the particular place where our current text is being grabbed from. Don't know if that was a good way of explaining that. Okay, so I've linked it to exit conversation, which doesn't mean anything yet until I set it to have meaning. And I'm going to set the visibility. Sorry, I grabbed that off the wrong thing. I'm setting the widget blueprint visibility here. Widget blueprint visibility. I'm going to set this visibility on true. If we're closing the conversation, I want this to be hidden. So I don't want to see it. The next thing is what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear children if it is false. Once again, I actually need to pull up the dialog. So widget blueprint. So when I'm saying when I'm clearing the children, kind of sounds pretty messed up, but what it actually is I am clearing all the conversation that's already in those boxes. Let's see. Sorry, I got distracted. Should blueprint dialogue. What did I name it? I thought I named it choices. Player response is what I named it. Getting the player response, and then I'm going to clear those children. Clear children. Up here. This is really far back. Just do this. All right. Clear children, and once I clear the children, I want to set the new text because the conversation is still going. That means there's more text to set. And I did it again where I actually need to grab this again, and it's going to be clear. Let me think about this for a second. So I'm clearing these children. I need to set the new text for the player, or not the player, for the NPC. What's the new text? NPC dialogue. So I need to go back over here and I need to go NPC, PC. Did I not call it NPC dialogue? What did I just look at? Oh, I didn't hook it up to isVariable. Whatever. Okay, we're set now. NPC dialogue. Get NPC dialogue, and that's what I'm going to be setting. Setting text. What? What did I just grab? Did I grab the wrong thing? Oh, I don't have this. Shoot. NPC response. My bad. I am blind in both my eyes. NPC response, get text. I was trying to pull off a box for text. I believe it's this one. All right. So I'm pulling the text from my dialog box and I'm attaching it to this set text. And then the bottom text is going to be for the reply itself. Did that make sense what I just said? Let me just show. So I'm just going to create a, I'm going to call it dialogue. I'm just going to call it dialogue. And then I'm going to call this the dialogue tree is what I called it. Dialogue tree. Created this variable. So I'm going to just drag this on here. And right now this should be an empty variable. So I can edit this however I like. This isn't doing anything yet. That's why it's an error. But you can see that I can now edit the conversation in here. And I can hit plus, and then it adds in the NPC response, NPC owner, I'm just gonna leave as none. And then you have all these options here. If I pull this out, you can see a little bit better. The reply, the node, and then exit dialog being an option. If you check it, then it'll exit dialog once it's set up. But that's what I did with this. Let me break this S dialog tree so that I can get the get a copy of this. And I'm going to leave this NPC owner blank here. This load dialog thing is going to be attached to the node on this. By default, it starts at 0. And then break S reply. And then the reply for the NPC is going to go in here. So the phrase that's in there, that's programmed in there, gets said in here. And the player choices are going to be, how do I want to do this? I'm going to do a for each loop. I'm going to do just for each loop. So every time it goes through this, it'll go through the array until there's no more in this node. So if it's node 0, then it'll run through all the text and it'll spawn it inside of the box. Is the goal. We'll see how this actually turns out. Well, if it goes bad, then you'll never see it. So create widget, and this is going to be create widget for choices. And the owning player here, you're just going to leave because that doesn't matter. The array element though, I need to break this. So I'm going to break this to S choices. And now I have these 3 things. So now I can actually set what these things actually do. Let me do this first. WB, get this. And I'm going to get the player choices. What did I keep forgetting what I was. Player response? Yeah. That's right? Yeah, play response. I am going to create a the child for this. So I'm adding a child now. I've cleared my child earlier. Now I'm creating a new one. Add child to the vertical box. Because this player response thing, this is just the box itself. So that's why I'm able to pull up this thing. And now I'm adding the child to the vertical box, and you already know what that child's going to be. It's going to be the choices blueprint. So I'm just going to attach that there, and that's going to be the content that's going to be within the vertical box. And I'm going to drag this up here and get the choices text. I thought I named it something, but I just have it as text block. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Set text. It's still gonna work. I would recommend naming things so you don't get confused about where they come from. Maybe I should be a good example. I'm gonna go in here and change this. I'm gonna call it choices. Oops, I'm pressing the wrong button. Wait, why? Why is this being weird? F2? What is going on? Oh, maybe I need to compile it first. No, it's not letting me rename this. Oh, I rename it. Oh, I rename it here? I thought you could rename it in the other place as well. Apparently not. Let me change this text block to what do I call it? I call it choices. Choices is fine. Anything's better than what it was. And it changes automatically for you, which is nice. So attach this here. This is called an execution pin, by the way. I'm so bad at teaching. Anyway, this break S choices here. This reply here, that's going to go in here. because this is the choice and this is the break S choices. So this reply you want to spawn in the vertical box here. So the next thing we have to deal with is the node. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to set, don't know why I grabbed off of that. I need to grab off of this. I need to set, I forgot what I called it. I think I just called it node. No, I didn't call it node. What did I call it? Did I even create the widgets? Or not the widgets. Did I even create the... I'm something special. All right. I need to create the variables in here. So this is going to be node integer. And I'm creating the variables in here so that I can reference them for the button. So you'll see that now that I created a variable in there, because I'm pulling off of this choices widget, I can now set the node that I just created. And I want to set it to whatever it's pulling off of for the break S choices. So next, I didn't do this either. I need to go back to WB choices and I need to create a new one of Boolean. And this is going to be the exiting, you're going to be exiting the dialog. So exit dialog or conversation or whatever you want to call it. Why'd I pull off that? Exit, and you want to set the exit for the dialog. And that will be whether you put true or false in this little thing here. This is going to be where you set up all the information for that. All right, so I'm going to compile and save that. And I'm pretty sure that's just a compilation error. But we'll see in a bit, I guess. Probably do it right now, actually. Save that. Will this work? No. Something has been compiled correctly. There we go. It was that one. Sometimes if you get errors, it's all it is a compilation error. So just make sure you compile all your things. I didn't finish this, and I think I can now. No, just kidding. I need to go all the way back to my. I need to go all the way back to my third-person character, actually. So what I'm missing here is everything. Yeah. How do I want to do this setup? I didn't reference anything here because I need to create that dialog box here, and I think all I'm gonna do is just gonna spawn the actor. Spawn actor from class, and that class is going to be the blueprint dialog thing that I created. So BP dialog. And this transform, we need a transform for this. I'm just going to promote this to a variable and leave it alone. And that should be good, right? I think that should be good. So now I can actually pull off of this now. So blueprint dialog. I totally forgot to promote it to a variable. Well, it's good to see from errors you can actually see why you need to do things. So I need to create a variable out of this so I can reference it in other places. So dialogue. So now I can reference it over here. And you'll see dialogue. Get the dialogue. And here it's all gonna have this blueprint dialogue, and I'm gonna reference the, what did I call it? Load dialogue here. So on clicked, I'm going to load dialogue. Compile, save. Didn't attach these things. Attach the variables. Compile, save. Am I not compiled something? I didn't compile that, did I? Is that it? Okay. Compiling, important. Is that everything? Man, I hope so. I feel like I've been doing this for a long time. Yeah, that should be fine, I think. Yeah. All right, let's just see how it goes. Guess this is the test right here. Text block didn't summon anything because I did not do everything. Target choices. Oh, I didn't put any choices in there. My bad. I am so out of it today. It is like 2 o'clock, 2 something. All right, let's put some choices in here. What do we want to say? So NPC reply. I don't know. Let's hungry for apples? Question mark. And this can be reply number 1. So I'm going to say where is it? And then I'm going to reference what's going to be the next conversation. And I'm going to leave that up. So I got that. I could say yes. And then I'm going to exit dialogue. I'm going to show that off. And there's not really any other options, right? So I'm going to start with another conversation here. Behind you. Whatever. Plus. And then we add the new player choice. Sorry, close the wrong one. And close this. So this is index 0. Now we have index 1 here. So my reply, I could say go back. And then I can reference node 1 here. Or not, well, node 1. Go back, so go to 0. I could add another one, and I could be like, I mean, I don't want to keep continuing this conversation. I kind of want to like end it here, but let's see. Elephants, speak to me. I don't even know what I'm trying to say at this point. I'm just making shit up. And I'm going to show, I want to show another option. Then we have sloth speak softly in the daylight. And that's going to be another exit dialogue. So this one goes back to node 0. This will go exit dialog. This will exit dialog. All right. So I'm going to compile and then save that. Now let me go back to this and I hit play and it does not spawn because I did not save it. Compile, save. That was my issue, right? If not, then I have other issues I have to worry about. I do have other issues I have to worry about. What the heck is happening? Dude, I just figured it out. I am so dumb. All right. I never actually set this dialogue to anything. So it was never referencing that. Oh, man. Crazy how that happens, you know? Anyway, okay, let's try these options. So what are the different options? Where is it? Behind you. Sloth speaks softly in the day. We can go back. It takes me back here. I can go elephant speak to me, and it exits the dialogue like I wanted it to. Hunger for apples, yes, also exit the dialogue. And then I believe the last one does exit the dialogue as well. So that's cool. Sorry, I'm just kind of thrown off how I totally forgot to just attach that thing. Like an idiot. All right, let's start with this. So now that I have that set up, I want to create a an actor or a NPC that will give me this dialogue once I interact with them. So let me create a function for this. Or create a custom event, my bad. Create custom event. Wait, what? Oh, it's custom event. Add custom event, not create custom event. Dialogue. Dialogue. And I'm just going to take these. And I'm going to paste it down here. And that's all I need to do with that. Let me create the actor now. So now I have an actual point that I can reference when I get my actor created. Because I'm probably going to do this all in the actor. There's a bunch of different ways to do anything. Realistically, I typically create BPIs for this stuff, but I'm just going to do it this way. This isn't a BPI tutorial. Go to BP actor, and I totally could have picked a different, whatever. I'll just add the skeletal mesh and stuff. So add the skeletal mesh. Skeletal mesh, I'm going to make the SKM Manny. And then I'm going to use the animation blueprint so it'll look not as rigid. ABP Manny, and you can see he has now the animations. So now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be pulling everything off. I didn't add a box. I need to add a collision box. So I need something to be able to trigger me being able to access this character. So let me get a collision box, collision. I'm just going to scale to 4. And let me lock this. Locking this makes it so all the values scale evenly. Cool. And that should be enough box for me to collide with. Let me go into the event graph here. For this box collision, I want to, on component, begin overlap. So when something overlaps with this, I want it to enable whatever I'm going to be enabling. For this instance, I'm going to cast it to my third-person character. So when my character overlaps with the box, I'm going to promote this to variable because I am going to use this later. And then I'm going to enable input. Enabling input is exactly what it says it does. So let me get my player controller. And normally I wouldn't be able to access this through my character because it's on a completely different actor. But since I'm enabling input for this actor because I've intersected with it, I am now able to access what's on this actor. And that will be, so I'm going to do on component begin overlap and component end overlap, because if you overlap with the box and then you walk a million miles away, you can still access that character because you haven't ended the overlap. Cast to third-person character. Don't need to set this again because I already have the variable. So let me disable the input. And make sure you attach it to player controller and not target, because if you attach it to target, it will disable all your controls once you leave that box. So disable your character completely, not just your controls, your controller. Because right now, all I'm enabling right now is going to be the controller itself. So I'm going to create a keyboard event. So this makes it so I can only access this keyboard event if I'm intersecting with that actor. Sorry, why am I doing that? I need to pull this off. That's why I got this in the first place. So I can create a dialog. On pressed, it's going to access this dialog. And it should do the same thing we did when we were begin playing. But now it's not attached to begin play on this character. So, yeah. So that should be everything. Let me try it. I don't have a character in the world. Let me drag him in here. Let me rotate him a little bit. And then let me hit play. And I set it for E, the keyboard binding. I didn't explain that very well. Whatever. And if I press E, hungry for apples. Okay. So an issue I have enabled being able to see the mouse, but I haven't disabled the movement controls. And it didn't happen when you were begin playing because there's an additional click that's needed before you actually start the game, which I might disable maybe in this tutorial. But let's just see if the buttons work. And you can see as it stopped moving once I clicked on it. I can fix that. And now another issue is now it's not disabled my mouse. So my mouse is still here and I can't control my character the right way. So I need to do a couple things. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to go into my third person character and go into my controller stuff. And we are going to set ignore look input. So that makes it so I can no longer move around. So you need to check this box. And then I need to set ignore move input. And this makes it so I can't move around. Let me check this box too. Compile and save. And that will work, but now I want to enable it back once I exit that screen. So if I go back into my dialog box here, into my load dialog, I now, when this is true, this cancels everything. So this is where you're going to be exiting. So on here, I'm gonna move this up a little bit. I want to drag off here, and I want to actually go over here. And I'm just going to Control C for copy all these different little events. I'm going to leave these alone because I'm actually going to use something different for these guys. Control V. And then I'm going to attach this here. And what I'm going to be using instead for those other guys is I'm going to do reset, ignore look input, and reset, ignore move input. And I'm going to attach this one to this. Compile and save. And that should be good for that. So let's see. Intersect. Hungry for apples. I still have the additional click. I haven't fixed that yet. I need to do that in a sec. Let me go back. No. Yes. So I'm still free-flowing whatever because I am an idiot and I forgot to do this. Uncheck all these things. Let's go back in here. So now I have control back. So that's one step. I still have that additional click, and I am going to fix that right now. So let's go into, let's go where we spawn the dialogue initially. So that should be in, why is my, how did I flip these? Whatever. Here. So at the very end of this, on the BP dialogue actor thing here, we are going to set the input mode for UI only. And off this player controller, we're just going to get player controller. And then at the end of the other thing, we're going to get gameplay. So let me go back to, why am I drawing a blank here? All right, let's go. Set input. Sorry, it's not off a controller. Let me just set input mode game only. And what this is going to do, it's going to remove that additional click. So when I hit E, I can now click it, and there's not that additional click that you have to click in order for it to work. And now that I've exited, there's no additional click to get me back in the game. Although there is one for this, but that's because I didn't add it to the begin play. But you can add one to the begin play, and you just make it game only, and it'll start without having to do that additional click at the beginning. All right, so I've done that. So let me go over trying to show you how to add your own variables to this. So now that we've created this whole thing and it's pretty much set up, let me just show you, say you want to have the other character destroy you or whatever. If you make an incorrect response, you get some type of action happens. Let me add a variable here. And in this case, I'm going to make it destroy actor. Destroy actor. And it's going to be of type Boolean works. Yeah, Boolean. And so what do we need to do first? We need to go on the choices, and where this on click thing is, we need to create the variables. So in this case, it's going to be destroy actor. So we've now created the variable. Now we should go to the load dialog so we can actually implement it. Remember to come back to this so we can input this thing into it. So under actor, sorry, dialog, we're going to add it in here. And you can see now that we have the option down here to input it. So the first thing I am going to do here is I'm going to pull off of this and I'm going to set destroy actor. And that's the variable that we just created. And let me drag off of here, attach that here. And I'm attaching that here. So the choice that we click in here will activate what happens. So if I say yes, then you're setting this to true, it is going to destroy the actor. And all I have to do there would be implement the event now. So implementing the event can be as simple as, let me just create a sequence here. Just add a sequence here. And then I want this to be a branch. So it'll go through. And if it is false, I don't want it to do anything. The condition, sorry, is going to be attached to this. And that is going to be the destroy actor. And I bet you're questioning like, wait, why can't I just write this in? It's because later when I go back to the thing that I was just at, I can take that variable and I can just input it in here and it'll make a reference to that. And I'm setting it down here. So it'll activate this. I hope that made sense. So this is what's activating this. This is getting pulled from the load dialog that we got earlier on. False, we're not going to do anything. For true, I'm going to spawn an emitter at location. If you guys watch my other videos, you know exactly which emitter I'm going to choose. It's going to be P-Explosion. It's a favorite. All right, so 4 tab, and then 4. This is me just scaling up the explosion so it's not a teeny little spark. The location is going to be the actor location, so I'm going to get player character here, player character, and I am going to get the actor location. So I am grabbing my own location from this actor, which is me. This is me. So this explosion is going to happen at me because that's where I want the explosion to be. Scaled it up to 4. And then I'm going to destroy my actor. And I could just drag off of this thing, but I'm just going to do another one. Get player character. Yeah. And then I have to go back to the thing that I created here to attach my destroy actor here. And this is what I was talking about earlier, how this is what's being referenced here. And it's being set down there. Yes. Control-Shift-S for save all. Let's see. And I now need to create this. And now I can do an additional, this is under index 1. I'm just going to do another plus here, and it's going to be destroy me. Destroy me. Let me extend this so I see what I'm doing. Destroy me under the reply here. I'm going to exit dialog, and I'm going to destroy actor. I want to show you something a little bit later as well. So let me do this as well. Sloth speaks softly in the daylight, but move quickly in the moonlight. I'm extending this so I can show you exactly what will happen if you have the phrase too long and how to fix that. So let's do this first. You'll see both though. Hungry for apples? Yes. Oh, sorry, wrong thing. Hungry for apples? Where is it? And you can see this just went straight off the page. I'll show you what to do with that in a second. But destroy me. And I blew up and died. So that's how you add your own variables to this thing. Obviously, it's going to be done differently because you're going to have different variables, but there's no way for me to set up a variable for every single option that you might pick, because there's an infinite amount of possibilities. So now to fix that thing. So let me go back to the widget blueprint here. And for actually it's going to be in here, but you can also do it for here as well. And what you're going to want to do is you want to wrap the text. Well, you're not going to see this, but essentially it's going to be auto wrap text. You're going to check it here, or go over here to widget blueprint choices, and you want to click it here, auto wrap text, compile, save, and now let's go in. And I didn't make these boxes big enough, but it will automatically wrap the text so that it fits in. You might need to customize it a little bit more so that it fits the way that you need it to. So if I were to do this, let me just... There's a whole wrapping policy. That's pretty nice. I have not stopped this yet. Okay. Let me go back in here. And now it kind of like adjusts to it, but now it's too big down here, and you just got to play with it until you have it fit the right way. But yeah. Oops. Hey, what's up? This is the next day. And it's the next day because I got my thumbnail maker made me a thumbnail, and it looks like this. And that looks like nothing that I have here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it look like this for a couple reasons. One, to show how easy it is to like edit kind of the setup we have already to make it look completely different than it does now. Another thing, there is some new features in here that I can show you how to like change. So what do we see in this? Right now, just from looking at it, other than the color and the dialogue and stuff, the stark difference between what we have and what this is that it's a horizontal box instead of a vertical box. So I'm gonna get started and try to make it look somewhat like that. So the first thing we want to do here, I already have the three things that we're going to need for this opened up already. It should just be these three things. So let me first change the position and do all that. Let me shorten this box up. Let's do it like right there. Make it like super long at the bottom. down there. And then I'm going to change this text box to be a little bit shorter. And if you're asking why I didn't make a separate border, that's for this one, for this text box that's above it, I should have. The answer is no reason. So let's do this. That looks all right. This looks kind of big, actually. Let me move this up a bit more, like that. And that should be fine. And then let me just control, except for the canvas panel, just control click all these things so you highlight them all. And then you can just drag this down to the bottom. And then you can position it however you like. So now I need to grab the borders. So the border's the whole thing. Let me just move this in here. And I'll shape it to the content here. Do that. NPC dialog is right here. NPC response, that's locked in. Border is going to be right here for this. And then for the player response, I'm actually going to delete this because this is a vertical box. Let me just click. Actually, let me Control C this. Control C to copy this because I'm going to rename it this. I'm going to press delete. And then I'm going to get a horizontal box. Just going to drag it in here and attach it to the border like we did before. I'm going to press F2, press Control V, and it'll automatically words. All right, it'll automatically paste player response in there. Compile and save it. And now I want to change the color, so I'm going to select both these borders here. And the brush color is going to be that's close enough, I think. Whatever. It's something. All right, I'm going to hit OK. So I'm going to keep the black text. Looks like that. And yeah, I'll leave it like that. So compile and save it. And now we're going to go, actually first, this isn't going to have the thing checked because we created a new, we just dragged this in here. So click is variable here. Now let's go back to WB choices. And because this is going to be more sideways, I actually don't want to make this bigger. I'm just going to have shorter choices. You kind of got to look inside the actual thing to see how it looks. You're just going to have to keep trial and erroring it till it looks good enough. Let's change the background color to a different shade, and then I'll just change the text to black. Okay, compile and save. Now we need to fix this up in our dialog thing, our blueprint dialog. So here it's really nice because it's named the same thing, it'll just recreate it up here. So this is no longer a thing, so I can just do that, drag it, and that's all you need to do. And there should be another one up here. Alt click, and I can't drag it onto this box because this is a vertical box. I'm adding child to a vertical box, but now I'm trying to add a child to a horizontal box. So add child to horizontal box. Go ahead and delete this. Set up the execution pins. And then drag off of this Create WB Choices widget as the content that's going into it. and then compile and save. And I think that should be good. Hungry for apples. And there's the where is it yes or whatever. This is still not, you know, fitting exactly. But other than that, that's it. I think that looks pretty good considering somewhat like this. So yeah. Bye.